Okay, this time I clicked on, okay, it has started recording now. So if I were to use the Kirchhoff's voltage law, then you would get the same thing in terms of you would write the equation in terms of the voltage initially, and then you will get the expression in terms of currents, and you'll get an equation for current. And if you were to differentiate this equation, you know that this will come to I over C plus R di by dt. Now I differentiated the equation is equal to 0. And from this, I can directly guess that the answer is going to be, again, the current equation will be I of t is equal to some current I naught into exponential of minus t by RC, because you can see the form over here. And what that I of 0 is, we'd have to figure out. So that's basically, if you get the expression solved in terms of the KVL, then you get your answer in terms of the current. Okay. Now, the same thing, we talked about natural responses. And the basic idea was that for natural response, the differential equation was some variable dy by dt. What is y? Y is some variable. It could be either current or voltage. It doesn't matter. Either it is a current or a voltage. But the general expression is, if I were to have dy by dt plus py is equal to 0, then the solution is that y is equal to e power minus pt. Okay. And some constant beta, which we have to determine. Now, if I want to put a forced response on the circuit, so this is for natural. If I want to determine what is the forced response, then I'm putting some forcing function. So let's say I put some constant value. So I say that there is dy by dt plus py is equal to some q. Okay. Like you saw in the earlier case, I had the RC circuit. The differential equation for natural response, I set v equal to 0. If I want the forced response, then I have a forcing function v. So that v will come into the equation. We wrote the equation here. According to KVL, I have some voltage VR, some voltage VC, and the sum of them is equal to the applied voltage V. Okay. So if I'm considering that applied voltage V, that is that Q over here. So an equation of this form, does anybody know what is the solution for this equation? You will note that I could have written this as, just to be mundane about it, I could have written this as Q plus 0. Okay. That means there are two components here. There is the natural component and there is the forcing function. So from the perspective of the natural component, you can expect I will get something like this as before, and that is beta times e power minus pt. Now, with regard to the applied function, the forcing function, you get an extra term, and that is plus q over p. Okay. Can you try to plug this equation? If I take this solution, y is equal to beta e power minus pt plus q by p, can you plug this into this equation and see if you're getting the LHS is equal to RHS? Is it matching properly? Try it out on your notebooks right now. Plus P times I should put a minus P over here. That got missed out. Everybody followed this?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So now if I'm putting a forced response to my equation, so let's say I take an RL circuit. And let's say I take some function that is V naught into U of t. It is a step function. Okay. So if I want to solve this system now, then what I would write is the V naught U of t is the applied forcing function is equal to I times R, where remember when I write I as a small lowercase digit, it actually means I of t, right? It's the time varying function. I of t into R plus L di over dt. Okay. And now if you were to try to bring this into the same form, then what is the answer? Has anybody solved this? I gave you the general solution of the equation dy by dt plus py equal to q. The answer is y is equal to beta times e power minus pt plus q over p. So what is the solution for this equation? I'm applying a step function to an RL circuit, and what am I trying to find out? What is the current response, right? Because the excitation is the voltage, and I'm applying a voltage to an RL circuit. A current is flowing, and that current is the response, I of t. So I'm trying to find out how the circuit behaves when I apply a unit step function. And then if I were to solve this equation, then what will I get? I will be able to say that V naught. So let's write it in the differential equation form. Di over dt plus R over L I of t is equal to V naught U of t divided by L. Okay. And now if I were to solve this equation, then I know that using the formula given over here on top, let's highlight it. Using this solution, what I can do is I say that I of t is equal to beta times e power minus RT over L plus V naught U of t divided by L divided by R by L. Is everybody following this step? If anyone is having a doubt, please raise. Now, how do I solve the boundary condition? Can anybody tell me what should be the boundary condition? This is the general equation. I have solved the general equation and I got this is the response of current. Now I know this is the equation for current, but what is missing here is beta is still an unknown constant. It is a general solution. Now how do I find out what is the value of beta? So I have to apply the boundary condition. Can anyone tell me what should be the boundary condition that I should apply now?
Time t equals to 0 and time t.
Okay, at time t equal to 0, what should I write?
I
So
will
I think we
I
should
of
take time t
0.
equals to infinity when I will be I naught constant.
Okay, at time t equal to infinity, I will be a constant. And first Payal said at time t equal to 0. Okay, let's do both. Let's do both. So if I were to take I at time t equal to infinity, that makes my life easy because then I can say what is the value of this I of infinity is equal to what? If I put t is equal to infinity, this whole term vanishes out. Okay, and this term vanishes because exponential of minus infinity is 0. I am left with what? Only this term, and that is equal to v naught divided by r. Does everybody understand the step function clearly by now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so step function means at time t, this is 0, and at t equal to 0, the value is 1. So this is a function u of t. Okay, since we are talking about t equal to infinity, t tending to infinity, right? So if t tends to infinity, then what is u of t? It is equal to 1 because I don't have to worry about this point. I'm somewhere far away at t is equal to infinity. So u of t is equal to 1. So that is gone. So I'm left with I of infinity is v naught by r. Okay. What is that telling you? What is this telling you? I of infinity is equal to v naught by r. Can somebody explain to me what it means?
maximum current.
Maximum current. Okay. That's also
In,
correct. Yeah.
So
inductor
at
becomes a
time t is
wire.
equal to infinity, yes, sir, piece of wire, resistance becomes zero
Resistance becomes zero of
of
what?
the inductor, of the inductor,
Ah,
of the
so
inductor.
the point is that the inductor becomes a short circuit because what you're applying is a DC supply. And we know that when you're applying a DC supply, then the inductor behaves as a short circuit. So initially, when I want to check the transient response, that means what is happening at this region, just at t is greater than 0, there the inductor is not a short circuit because there the inductor is getting charged. But once the inductor is charged, at infinity it becomes a short circuit. Therefore, the entire voltage will drop across the resistor. Therefore, the current flowing in the circuit is V naught by R. That's good. Then what about I is at time t equal to 0? What happens here?
Resistance of inductor is infinite or current is equal to 0.
Current is equal to 0. Why is that?
Resistance of inductor is infinite at that time.
What does
It
it mean
is
to say resistance of inductor is infinite?
means it will
Opposes.
not allow current through it.
Correct. So the property of the inductor is it opposes instantaneous change of current. Okay, this is the important point. Inductor allows change of current because after all, what is the voltage across the inductor? V is equal to L di by dt, as I'm writing in the corner here on the right side. So that means when I say di, it means there is a change in current, and therefore the voltage across the inductor is proportionally changing because V is L di by dt. But what it does not allow is instantaneous change of current because then when I say current change is instantaneous, di by dt becomes infinite, right? There is an abrupt transition. So that is what is here in the step function. So at time t equal to 0, I cannot allow an instantaneous change of current. Therefore, I know that the circuit was off. Before time t equal to 0, there was no current flowing because the circuit was switched off. I turned it on at t equal to 0. Instantaneously, current cannot flow. So I of 0 still has to be 0. It will gradually build up. So I of 0 is 0, and that is equal to what? Beta, because I've put t is equal to 0 over here. That means this exponential term is gone. I'm left with beta plus v naught over r. Everybody got this? Therefore, the current is, now I can tell, I of t is the sum of the two responses, the transient response and the steady state response. So I is beta V naught over R into U of t minus e power minus RT over L. Okay. So what is the forcing function here? Can you tell me? What is the forcing function? The forcing function is the applied voltage. You applied a voltage V naught into U of t. Okay. And because you applied this forcing function V naught U of t, you know that the property of the inductor is in steady state. That means after the t has settled for a long time, this inductor becomes a short circuit and the only current that will flow is V naught by R, right? So if I put t equal to infinity, this term will vanish and I will be left only with this. So this is the forced response of the system. The response of the system in response to the forcing function. Okay. And this exponential term is the natural response. It is a function of time. I initially changed the voltage level, and in response to that, there is a gradual change. At t equal to 0, what is the value of this? This is equal to 1. At t equal to 0, the step function is also 1. It is defined as 1 for t is greater than equal to 0. So at t equal to 0, this term becomes 1 minus 1 is 0. So at t equal to 0, I of 0 is 0. That we already proved. So initially there can be no flow of current. Then gradually as t increases, this term becomes smaller and smaller. So the current keeps increasing. This is just 1 minus some fraction. And finally at t equal to infinity, this becomes 0 and you're left with only V naught by R. So if I were to draw the current curve, what will it look like? I know the maximum value is V naught by R, and that is at t equal to infinity. Initially it is 0, and then it increases exponentially. It's 1 minus an exponential function. So I think it probably goes something like this. And then it finally asymptotically hits the V naught by R value. This is time, and this is I of t. Okay. So we talked about the natural response, forced response. The natural response was very straightforward. It's a homogeneous differential equation. RHS is 0, so you have to just solve this part. But when you talk about a forced response, then essentially what you have to do is you have to solve this new equation. That means on the RHS you have the forcing function. And if the forcing function is a constant, it's very easy to solve. It's just this solution. If the forcing function were even more complicated, supposing in place of u of t, I put sine omega t or cos omega t or exponential, then things get quite dicey. It becomes difficult to solve. So because that solution of the differential equation with exponentials and sinusoids becomes complicated, this is why we go into the Laplace transform. So the Laplace transform is a mathematical transformation. If I were to solve the same problem using Laplace transform, okay? So let's redo. Now what happens? I have the function V naught u of t. Okay, and I'm trying to find out the current I. Now I'm going to transform this. I know the differential equation already. We have already written it down. We said that di by dt plus R over L times I is equal to V naught to u of t divided by L, right? That's what we wrote on top. Where was that? Yeah, here. So we wrote this equation. That's the differential equation describing the circuit. Now I'm going to take the Laplace transform. So let's apply the Laplace transform to this entire system. Okay. Now what happens? We have this Laplace transform tables. Where you have the response of the function. So if there is a input is a delta of t, u of t, and different things, and then there was something for differentiation and integration. I think it's not here. I can write it down quickly. So the Laplace transform of df over dt is equal to s f of s minus f of 0. Okay. So what is this equation going to be now? Can you read out for me? Di by dt becomes s I of s, okay, minus I of 0 plus r over L I of s is equal to v naught over L. And what is the Laplace transform of u of t?
By S.
1 upon s.
1 upon s. Okay. So this has become our equation in the Laplace domain. I know from the initial condition that current cannot flow, so I can put this term equal to 0. This I naught term. Okay. I don't need that. So I set this to 0. So then my equation becomes I of s into s plus r over L is equal to v naught into 1 over ls. Okay. Now just be careful about the notation. When I write in the Laplace transform domain, I write this as I of s. I is a capital. So in the Laplace domain, all the variables become capital. In the time domain, everything should be small. Okay. Here v naught is capital because v naught is just a number. It's just a constant. If I were to write v of t, then that would be a small number and a capital in the Laplace domain. So now if I want to solve this, has anybody got the answer? How to do this? We did this in the previous class, right? I of s is equal to v naught over ls into 1 plus s plus r by L. Okay. If I want to split this, I can say this is v naught over L into 1 over s minus 1 over s plus r over L. So s plus r over L minus s leaves me with r over L. So I have to do into 1 by r over L. Everybody is following this so far? And correct me if I make any mistake. So that's v naught over r. If anyone is having problem, let me know, I'll stop. I mean, we can go over the step again. Is everybody okay for me to go ahead? I found out what is the value of the current, I of s, the Laplace domain, in terms of the whatever functions we got for the transfer function. And we resolved this. And now we have to write the inverse Laplace transform. So what is the inverse Laplace transform of 1 over s?
UT.
Okay. So that is u of t. And what is the inverse of 1 plus 1 by s plus r by L? Let's go back to the table. Yeah. So this one here, 1 over s plus alpha that is in time domain e power minus alpha t u of t. Okay. So let's go back here. This becomes minus e power minus alpha. What was alpha? R over L into t into u of t. Let me just make it clear. Everyone is with me so far? So now I'm left with this function that I have I of t is equal to. This is the response of the circuit to a step function. We solved this during Laplace transform, using Laplace transform. And how is that comparing to our earlier solution? This one. So we got the same thing. I is V naught by R prefactor u of t minus e power minus RT by L, other u of t. Okay. That u of t doesn't matter much because all it is saying is at t greater than equal to 0, it is finite. And otherwise it is, it is equal to 1 when t is greater than 0, else it's not there. So this is the answer. Okay. Everybody is with me so far? So what was the topic of our class today? Response of RL and RC circuits to various forcing functions. Okay. So according to our syllabus, there are a few standard forcing functions and we can look at those. Now, as I told you earlier, I'm applying a forcing function. I'm having a set of elements R and L and I'm getting the response. Okay. That means in this given circuit, what I'm trying to do is I'm applying, make this bigger. I'm applying some forcing function V of t. My network of resistors and inductors or capacitors behaves in a certain function, in a certain way that is described by a network function. And in response, when I apply this to the network function and get some response. Okay. That's what we are doing. So now what I'm saying is we will change these forcing functions. Okay. We'll have different values of forcing functions. My network function is fixed. So let us see what that means. Normally I have some network which has some, say, R, L, C, all passive elements. And when I have this network, if I apply some excitation or forcing function, the excitation can be V or it can be a current source. I'm always using voltage source. I could have used a current source also. So I can apply some excitation V and then I'm getting some response. Okay. Let me not use these double lines. They indicate something in network theory. They're called two-port networks. So let's not use that line. Just use a single line. I have some excitation that is applied to my network. And I'm getting some response out of it. So this is what has happened when I solved this equation over here. When I wrote the things in the Laplace domain, this was my excitation. Okay, this is P naught. Well, I have already modified this equation, so let's not consider this as excitation. Let me just rewrite it for clarity. So if I were to write the equation in full for the RL network, series RL, okay, and here what I know is that I'm applying some voltage V of t that is equal to some I of t times R plus L di by dt. And if I were to write the Laplace transform of this, then I would say that I have V of S is equal to I of S times R plus L into S. Right? Did everybody follow this step?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means what I have is I have the excitation, I have the response, and I have a network function. This function doesn't depend on the excitation or the response. So this is a passive part. This is fixed. I have a circuit. I've taken a breadboard. I put one resistor and one inductor, and that behavior of that circuit is fixed. That is called the network function. It describes how is the network going to behave. Now for that given network function, I can apply any kind of excitation and find the corresponding response. So right now, what was the excitation I applied? I applied a step function. I applied V is equal to V naught into U of t. What if I were to apply a delta function? Say that my excitation, so let's call this as 1. So now we'll say that V of t is equal to V naught times delta of t. Okay. And what is delta? It's an impulse function. Have you studied all this in your signal systems?
No, sir.
Not yet.
Delta.
Signal system. This is the basic signal.
Delta, yes, sir.
Yeah. Delta is the impulse function. So in fact, when you say signals and systems, this is the signal and this is the system. The network function is the system and the excitation is your signal and your response is a signal. So I'm applying a signal to the system and I'm getting a response. Okay. So my signal right now is a delta. Let's say it's an impulse function. Impulse function means it is valid only at t equal to 0. It's a unit impulse function and its magnitude is equal to 1. Okay. So this is a system where what is happening is if you go back to the circuit, then essentially at time t equal to 0, I'm connecting the switch and immediately I'm disconnecting it. So I'm connecting it and disconnecting it. Okay, that's what is happening. So initially it's a short circuit. Then I just introduce an impulse voltage in the circuit which drives something and immediately I short circuit it. So that's how physically if you want to visualize the impulse function. So here what will happen is now I'm just going to follow the same pattern because this is my standard equation for my series RL circuit. So now I will just say that V naught into delta of t. What is the Laplace transform of this? Delta of t?
1.
1, correct. So it is just 1. So V naught is equal to I of S into R plus Ls. Okay. Remember that we are following the same principle that in an inductor, current cannot instantaneously increase. And therefore the current at time t equal to 0 is 0, right? Otherwise this expression, which we are writing as di by dt, that in the Laplace transform, it becomes I of S times I of S minus I of 0. And we are considering this is equal to 0 due to initial condition. So keep that in mind. That's why in all our expressions, we are not writing any I of 0 term. So we are just writing R plus Ls. Now if I want to solve this equation, then what is I of S? Can someone work it out and tell me what you are getting? So how do we solve this? Can anyone split this? Solve
E
this
to-
equation?
E to the power minus RLT. No.
Am I doing this correct or did something get missed out? Let's see. So V naught delta of t Yeah. So I think that's working out to be, that's all it is. V naught by L. So is this equation making sense? What do you think? Is anybody able to get an understanding of this equation? What exactly happened here? So we have gone to the, let's go back to the circuit. We are applying an impulse function over here. Initially, the impulse function, when you apply it, there cannot be any current at time t equal to 0 because of the continuity. Now, if you see our equation here, then due to the continuity, at time t equal to 0, this becomes 1, and u of t is actually equal to, in this case, it is equal to 1, but I don't know whether we have to think of it as 0 at time t equal to 0 and consider u of t as 1 only after time t equal to 0. So that's like a boundary condition. Let us figure it out. As time t tends to infinity, then u of t is equal to 1 and this term becomes 0. So essentially what I have is I have some impulse function which our current, according to this equation, our current response seems to say that I will have t and I will have I of t. So initially at time t equal to 0, I know that the current has to be 0. And thereafter, the current rises up quickly. And then at infinity, it again goes back to 0. So it probably does something like this. We have to, maybe one way to plot it out is to try it in the SPICE, because you all did the SPICE simulation last semester. We can try to put the circuit and see whether we are indeed getting some response like this. Okay. Is everybody getting the same mathematical analysis, whatever I did? Or is anybody getting a different answer? But right now it seems that this is very straightforward. Case number 3. Let's just do this quickly. V naught of t is a ramp function. Is everyone familiar with ramp function? So how does the ramp function behave? Unit ramp means it just increases with a 45-degree slope. And we write this as t u of t because this is t. U of t is a positive number after t equal to 1. And t is like just an increasing function. So this is called a ramp function. So what would be the Laplace transform of this? Can you tell me? Go back to our table. I think we have to use this formula. Okay. We said our function is t times u of t. So if we have to consider the case that n is equal to 2. So t to the power n minus 1 is t, and n minus 1 factorial, 2 minus 1 factorial is 1. So this is t into u of t. And the corresponding Laplace transform is 1 by s to the power n. So it is s square. Therefore, now our function becomes v naught over s square is equal to I of s into r plus ls. Okay. So what is I of s now? Can you tell me? So why don't we leave this as a homework? I mean, you can solve it and then we can take it up from here in tomorrow morning's class. Because here you have to split some terms. You have a square term and you have to see how to split it. Let's stop the recording here for today. Any doubts from anybody?
Sir, in RC circuit, when we apply KVL and if we have a forcing function, like we have an external voltage source